what they want to hear.
Let's see. Obama got the job. Obama was terrible, bro. Sorry to tell you.
Yeah, Obama was pretty bad, man.
Yeah, like he was token representation at the highest office and didn't do it and functioned as a neoliberal corporatist. He was supposed to be the
Yeah,
next FDR. He came in and governed like the next Bill Clinton. That's exactly what
yeah.
the fuck he is.
He
Sorry to tell
had
you all.
such an opportunity too. Like if he had done one good thing, right? Like when he was dealing with the recession
Hmm.
in 2010, like when he was dealing with that when he first got into office with the Great Recession, instead of just bailing out Wall Street and giving all that money to the banks who didn't deserve it and then
Right.
barely regulating them any differently afterwards, he could have done like just 5% of that. He could have bailed out the homeowners, given them the money to give to get the banks instead of so making them solvent would have also made the banks solvent. They had that whole moral hazard argument, right? About, oh, he can't give them anything for free because then they'll expect it again, which is such a bullshit argument. It's like, so what ended up happening is they paid, like Steve Mnuchin, like that's a perfect example, right? When he worked at IndyMac, he took government money. The government paid him to foreclose on these people,
Hmm.
and then he would foreclose. We'd get the government money. They would pay for the price of the house, and then he would collect the money from the people, and then foreclose it
Yeah.
and sell it again at auction.
Yeah.
So if they couldn't
David
pay,
has
it
it
got
right here. Look,
foreclosed.
take Obama at his word. He wouldn't be out of place in a Reagan administration. Why pretend what he
Exactly.
himself
So
said he
instead of
wasn't?
doing
Exactly.
anything to bail out all the homeowners who got screwed by the
Hmm.
banks crashed the economy. That was 100% their doing. They knew exactly what they were doing, and they did it anyway because they thought there was be no accountability, right?
Yeah.
They were buying and selling. They were shorting their own stuff. So they one side of it would be basically paying like you're probably better explaining it than me. They
What's up
were you explain it.
with the with the what do you call it? The derivatives market.
Yeah, the short selling, like
Okay,
the way they were.
this is what happened. So with the short selling shit, they made a whole bunch of money on these CDOs, these collateralized debt obligations, where you would be able to go ahead and buy these bonds that were comprised of thousands of mortgages, right? And the profit model got incentivized more by just signing off and giving away mortgages to anybody like cookies. And what ended up happening from that is you ended up with these mortgage bonds that were getting bet against on both sides with short selling and holders on those notes, and all of that was built on a house of cards because these mortgage bonds were worthless because people were
And then they
defaulting in
were
mass because they shouldn't have had a mortgage in the first place.
well,
See,
then they were rushing to get the mortgages out because it was federal. Fannie Mae was government backed, right? So
yeah,
they would give them
and
they would loan people money who didn't deserve the money,
here's
right?
the other part of it though. The whole industry was fucked because then
And then they had the ratings.
the ratings
Yeah,
agencies
were
were
corrupt.
all corrupted in the same way where they would give these same mortgages, these mortgage-backed securities, they would give them AAA, AA ratings, even though they were a bunch of crap.
Yeah, this adjustable rate mortgage
Right.
people got with no money
Adjustable
down,
rate
and then give it a
mortgages,
double A rating.
zero down type bullshit. And then you
Yeah.
have the entire world economy built on this thing. The entire idea of a mortgage backed security is supposed to be that you take a fixed income mortgage, you shuffle them all together with thousands of other mortgages, and you make a good profit at the end, because who the fuck doesn't pay a fixed rate mortgage because you assume that's the case. Now you
Hmm.
throw in a bunch of adjusted rate mortgages over a period of time, and you back up this whole derivatives industry on that, and then on top of that you have a whole you have people shorting, people doing the premiums on one side or
And
another,
yeah,
and
the
it
same
just
bank people at
yeah. And then
what's it
what? And
called?
then
Um,
look at this isn't the only part of it though. The at the end of it, when they realized, okay, we're holding a bunch of these mortgage-backed securities, and then we're getting short sold on it, and then as soon as people find out that these things are gonna crash, we're gonna be fucked. These are what the big banks thought, right? Then what did they do? They unloaded. They unloaded all of their holdings, and they
Yep.
took a short position, and then they made money on the back end on top of it. That's the way
So
the system worked.
so when Obama came into office,
And then what?
he
And yeah, right. And then Obama
he
came into
covered the
office
debts of the banks. He let the
because
people get foreclosed.
right.
He paid
So
those guys to
right
continue
because
foreclosing on these
right.
people.
So the banks were holding these these notes, these credit default swaps, right? They're holding these credit default swaps. That means they would have to pay back on those defaulted bonds. Triple of one? I mean, it was a ridiculous amount of debt that they'd be in. And then instead of saying "fuck you, banks," you fucked up, you ran a scam, it caught up with you. Instead of doing that, they giving money to the people who lost their homes, who
were being
defaulted,
foreclosed
who were
on.
being foreclosed on.
Because
Instead
the
of
rates went up.
instead of bailing those people out, they go to all the big banks and cut them all checks.
And their bonuses.
And they got bonuses and golden parachutes, and not one of them went to fucking prison.
If you had given the money to the people, they would have paid the bank, right? So if you had paid the people, it would have also taken care of the banks. Yep. And they still just gave it straight to the fucking bank.
Right. Like, yep. We're simulcasting now, so we're on YouTube as well as Twitch. You know, pick your preference. When we do interviews, we'll do Periscope stuff too. But yeah, for right now, we're just gonna do the two platforms. But yeah, that's
why Obama sucks.
Yeah, and
plus 90% civilian kill rate. There's drone strikes.
Yeah, I mean there's that too. I mean, he killed a bunch of people in his drone strikes. The porter in chief kept sending my people back.
Didn't prosecute any of the war criminals from Bush from the Iraq War.
So why don't we change gears a little bit? There was a Joe Rogan clip I sent you earlier.
And plus what he did in the primary.
Oh right, yeah. I mean, just didn't even go that far back. I mean, he screwed over Bernie. Yeah. He orchestrated Bloody Monday. Yeah, and got all of these people to drop out and line up against Bernie just to secure his legacy. So
I was thinking about it tonight. If he had done that thing in the recession, like if he had paid the people and the people had paid the banks, right? If they had done that, just a massive stimulus, I feel like that would have just changed the entire direction of the country. Like we would be at a much different place right now. Just the fucking like the black wealth, right? The generational wealth that was just wiped out, right? And they had just been building it up from like, the 70s on, and they'd finally like got a few percent, right? And then just fucking wiped out, right? And he knew all the shit he was doing, right? And then Flint.
Yeah, Flint, Michigan too. Okay, we could go on about Obama all night.
Yeah, we could go on about Obama forever.